Hey guys, what is up? Steve Murph, and today I have a special steak for you. We are grilling a flat iron steak. It gets its name not because you cook it in a iron pan or anything like that, because it looks somewhat like what you use to iron clothes. See how it's shaped like a triangle? Our cut isn't exactly shaped like this, but I did Google it earlier, and some common cuts of flat iron steak do look like that. So I don't normally cook flat iron steak, but I saw it in the store the other day when I was looking for some ground Wagyu beef. From what I hear, it's supposed to be very beefy. Now, if you've had several different cuts of beef, you'll know that certain types have a more beefier flavor than others. Like Wagyu beef is really well known for having a very tender, buttery, beefy flavor. So this is also a little bit of an experiment, but I'm gonna cook it close to how I cook sirloin steak, and I think it's gonna turn out wonderful. So how do you prepare a flat iron? So first we're gonna be grilling this piece of steak, and it's cut from the chuck roast. And so, you know, that's a kind of a tougher part of the cow. You use the chuck roast in, like, say, pot roast, or when you're cooking barbacoa to really make it tender. And since we're grilling it, I'm gonna put some tenderizer on there to help break down the meat a little bit, do some pepper, and we're gonna keep it that simple. Now, I will follow it with a delicious garlic rosemary butter to top with. Let's get to the beef. Oh, here we are. Look at that flat iron steak. It looks so awesome. There's some really nice marbling throughout this cut right here. And one thing about the flat iron steak is that the fibers run lengthwise. So we're going to slice it sideways whenever it's finished. So we're cutting against the grain, and you just get some really awesome bites that way. So one of the first things we do before we start seasoning is we're going to pat dry the steak. And so what that does is it removes the moisture from the outside. And so after we put on our seasonings and it goes up against direct heat, you get a nice, really crispy crust. You may have noticed I sound a little different. That's because the audio somehow got messed up when I was recording, and so I'm recording this just through my microphone. Just like Chef John on foodwishes.com. So for seasoning, we're just going to use a tenderizer and pepper, fresh ground pepper on this. The tenderizer we're using is Adolph's tenderizer, and one thing to note is this has some sodium in it, so it has a salty flavor, so you don't need to add salt or anything like that. Just so that tenderizer will be good enough. And when you put it on pretty liberally to give the steak a nice covering, and that takes about 30 minutes to really tenderize the steak and get it to where you want. The flat iron is like a chuck roast, New York strip combo, so anything tough like a sirloin or a chuck roast, you'd use some tenderizer on. And then you just finish off with fresh ground black pepper for a nice spicy and crispy crust. We'll give it a nice layering here. Then pat it down and just need to season the other side, and we are good for the grill. All right, my friends, it's game time. So we have the grill going at about 450 at this thickness. That's like an inch and a half, maybe 2 inches at the biggest. I'm thinking it's going to be about 6 minutes on each side. Something new I started doing, though, is I got a nice instant read thermometer that is like oven and grill safe, and now I use this to get the perfect temperatures. So I'm going to go in between a medium rare and a medium for this. So that's about 125, 130, and it will come up in temperature a little bit after it comes off the grill. So let's get going. So grill is at about 450. Throw this bad boy right on in the middle. Listen to it sizzle. Perfect. So I'm going to shut this and check back in 6 minutes, and that's when I'm going to put in the instant read thermometer. Alright, that's 6 minutes. So one really cool thing about this electronic thermometer for refrigerators and grills and stuff is you can just smack it right on there with a magnet. So we'll go ahead and flip this guy. Beautiful. Go. Then, so now that I want the temperature, we're going to go in the thickest spot right about here. Get it a little bit in the middle at an angle, so it's really getting a good idea. Here we go. We'll shut the grill, and you can see, maybe, the blue light went away. There we go. So it's at 82 degrees right now. So we'll check back in 6 minutes, and with this you can set the limit. So I'm going to go all the way down to 125. So if it does hit that, it'll let me know. Honestly, I think we're going to have to grill this for a little while if it's only 86 degrees. So 6 more minutes. That's another 6 minutes. It's at 118, so that was almost perfect. I think maybe a 7.7 or a 6.5. 6.5 would have been great. So I'm just gonna flip it one more time and give it probably 2 more minutes. Go ahead and pull this guy out. That is looking freaking awesome. I think 2 minutes and we'll be there. So we're just gonna check this and see where it's at. Look at that, 125. Well, I don't know if you can see because it's flashing, but we are perfect and it's good to go. This came up to 129, so that's ready to come off, definitely. All right. Boom. Booyah. Can you let it rest for 10 minutes so the juices get all over in that steak? Don't come gushing out the first time you cut it. And then this is ready to eat. While we're waiting for that steak to finish resting, this is the rosemary garlic butter. And the best way to do it that I've found is you turn your pan on low, lots of butter, tasty garlic. I crush the garlic, throw it in, and then throw in some rosemary. You don't want it too hot or else it'll burn the garlic and burn the rosemary. This is why I do what I do. Look at that. That actually looks very tasty, very juicy. Oh my gosh. I don't know. I think we might have cooked it perfectly. So I'm going to bring in the cutting board here. And there's my dull knife. We're going to find a way to get that sharper because I get so many comments about it. One person, I mean, honestly, this was pretty funny. They said I was juicing the steak. Oh, very tender. I just put that fork in. Very, very tender. Okay. So we'll put it right there. We're gonna get you guys the cut right from the middle. So forgive me if I'll put it sideways, forgive me if my hand gets in the way. But we'll just go right there and cut right through the middle. Yeah, all right. Oh my gosh. All right guys, I think this turned out really good. Take a look. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited to have a bite of that. Let's get to the taste test. We can't wait. All right, guys, check it out. It cooked really well. Well, it actually cooked really medium, maybe a little medium rare. So now, the last thing is to taste test it. And I put some of that garlic, rosemary butter here on the side. It feels really tender. Here we go. Here is the bite. What is this like? It's worth it. Whoa. That's freaking awesome. That is better than a sirloin. It's really tender, really juicy. Beefiness is okay. They might have oversold the beefiness a little bit. But if you guys are thinking about a flat iron steak, follow this recipe. It'll be perfect. If you'd like a little more salt, you might want to add just a bit of salt to it. I'm not getting much salt from the tenderizer, but just the texture of the beef is phenomenal. The temperature is fantastic. It's really actually pretty good. I would say close to like a New York strip or something like that. I'm very impressed with the flat iron. I've had it before. Don't really remember what it tasted like, but this just turned out wonderful. Well, thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to see more steak videos, subscribe to this channel. I also do a lot of coffee videos and adventure vlogs when we have time for that. I really appreciate you guys watching this through to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.